Welcome to the Friday Five here on the Agent Survival Guide podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Ruppel, and this is our weekly list of 5 things you should know about. Today is Friday, January 23rd. I don't know about you, but over the past 2 weeks, I have seen so much content online comparing 2026 to 2016. I can understand wanting the new year to seem like it's a fresh start and being inspired by that clean slate vibe that we tend to get from another circuit around the sun. And I'm on board with that because I'm a look ahead type of person. This trend, however, has us looking 10 years in the rear view. And we are waxing philosophically, posting all sorts of content online. We're posting our old outfits and laughing at the skinny jeans, statement necklaces, and plaid scarves. We're laughing at the selfies we took with some of the first Snapchat filters. We are remembering social media before algorithms when we could scroll to the end of our feeds. And while it might seem odd to look back so specifically to 2016, I think that date is just our neat and tidy way of boxing up a trend, as we tend to do in 2026. We are all about labeling and dissecting. I mean, the fact that I'm talking about this right now, we are living in this collective time frame subject to algorithmic organization. All that being said, we're not really saying that 2026 is the new 2016 because there were all sorts of issues and problems with 2016. It was not a perfect time. We're looking more broadly at the time circa 2016, more early 2010s-ish, when being online was fun. Hanging out offline still happened. The pandemic hadn't yet happened. We were younger. There was less adulting. To me, this trend is really Gen Z trying out millennial nostalgia, discovering that they might kind of like it. And outside of the companies that run social media, most of us who were online then wish that being online today still gave us a sense of joy and wonder. That it still felt like a playground where we could make our own rules and less like we had this sense of duty or responsibility to post. So is 2026 the new 2016? No. But rather than shy away from this trend, I have decided to embrace the millennial cringe my daughter keeps telling me I have, and we are going to lean in. So now that we have that background out of the way, let's have a little fun and look back on our industry in 2016. And we'll start out with ACA Marketplace enrollment, since that is where I left off in last week's Friday 5. The most recent open enrollment period marked the 13th year for the ACA Marketplace. We have 21 state-based exchanges, 2 state exchanges running on the federal platform, and 27 states handling enrollment through the federally facilitated marketplace. Back in 2016, we had just 13 state-based marketplace exchanges, which we shorten to SBEs or SBMs, depending on who you ask. And 37 states were using the federally facilitated marketplace, or FFM, for their enrollment. Another fun fact, back in 2016, open enrollment didn't start until November 15th, and it ran through January 31st. This year, in most states, OEP ran from November 1st through December 31st, and we're still working on streamlining the dates for enrollment. That only happened in 2011 for Medicare, so it is something that takes some time. Now, as far as enrollment goes, obviously, more people have enrolled in ACA coverage over the years as the program has gotten off of its feet. Back in 2016, when all was said and done, 12,681,874 beneficiaries had signed up for coverage. So far, for coverage year 2026, we are at a total of 22,774,847 plan selections. Nationwide, that's an almost 80% increase for enrollment in ACA plans. Zooming in on our show's home state of Pennsylvania, back in 2016, 439,238 individuals signed up for ACA plans. So far, for coverage year 2026, our state-based exchange, Penny, has reported 477,950 enrollments, almost a 9% increase in enrollment over the decade. Now, let's move over to the Medicare side of our industry. With it being so early in 2026, we don't have complete Medicare enrollment data just yet. But we do have info on plan availability and pricing that we typically compare from year to year as information becomes available. We can also take a look back more than 1 year, so that's what we're going to do on the Medicare side of things. And if you want the final enrollment numbers, follow along with our show. That is something that we cover annually here in the Friday Five. Let's look at the cost of original Medicare, starting with Part A. We don't really highlight the premium amounts for Part A because most people receive this benefit at no cost after they've worked for 10 years or more. We do, however, highlight the inpatient hospital deductible, which back in 2016 was $1,288. That's gone up to $1,736 in 2026. As far as Part B goes, something interesting happened in 2016. There was no cost of living adjustment, or COLA, for Social Security recipients. This meant that the hold harmless provision kicked in for those who received Social Security checks in 2015, and they paid $104.90, the same amount they had paid the previous year. For those who were new to Medicare or who were not collecting Social Security, they paid $121.80 for their Part B premium. In coverage year 2026, the Part B premium is $202.90. The Part B deductible was $166 back in 2016, while today, in 2026, that cost is $283 per year. Now, let's talk Part D and how much that has changed since 2016. Interestingly, back in 2016, the average premium was a little over $34 per month. In 2026, the base premium is almost $39 per month. Little bit of a different metric there, and I believe that has to do with the 2026 numbers not being final. We know the average of what was paid in 2016, but for 2026, we're looking at the average of the base premium set by CMS. One last cost highlight here. Let's look at Medicare Supplement. Back in 2016, Medicare plans C and F were both still options for new Medigap enrollment. That changed when the MACRA changes were implemented in 2020. Plans C and F are now only available for Medicare beneficiaries who were new to Medicare prior to January 1, 2020. As far as cost goes for these MedSup offerings, in coverage year 2016, the deductible for MedSup plans F, G, and J was $2,180. Currently, beneficiaries pay a $2,950 deductible on Medigap plans F, G, and J for coverage year 2026. Not too much of a change here, given the fact that we are looking back 10 years. As for the out-of-pocket costs, well, that's another story. Lot more of an increase here. In 2016, beneficiaries with Plan K had an out-of-pocket limit of $4,960. For coverage year 2026, that cost has increased to a limit of $8,000. Plan L also has an out-of-pocket limit that is half the cost of Plan K's. So in 2016, that was a $2,480 cap. In 2026, Plan K enrollees have an out-of-pocket limit of $4,000. Okay, that does it for cost, but we're going to swing back around to Medicare Advantage and finish out our comparison with the data we have available to us. The MA space has grown significantly in the past few years. A lot of plan offerings and a lot of carriers bringing those plans to market. Back in 2016, though, the average Medicare beneficiary had a total of 18 Medicare Advantage plans to choose from. For coverage year 2026, that number has increased to 39 Medicare Advantage plans. Looking at total plan availability, in 2016, there were almost 2,000 Medicare Advantage plans available, with the majority being HMO or Health Maintenance Organization MA plans. In 2026, the Medicare Advantage market boasts 3,373 plans, 57% of which are HMO plans. PPO plans, or Preferred Provider Organization plans, have narrowed the gap, making up 41% of all MA plans available nationwide. Special needs plans are another plan type where we've seen growth. Back in 2016, there were a total of 550 plans available nationwide, 342 dual eligible SNPs, and 139 chronic condition SNPs. In 2026, there are almost as many C-SNP plans as the total of all special needs plans back in 2016. Nationwide, there are 1,721 SNP plans available, 548 of which are C-SNPs and 1,019 that are D-SNPs. Our industry has seen a lot of growth since 2016. We've also seen a lot of change. I did not even get into all of the compliance changes or how many times we've gone back and forth with scope of appointment rules. And then there's technology. 10 years ago, we were just starting to quote products online and take electronic enrollments. Here on the marketing side of things, we were trying to convince agents that they needed to have a website to market their insurance business. It's been a wild ride, and fun fact, this last AEP was my 10th in the industry. We've seen a lot of change, and we're going to continue seeing change, because that's just the nature of our industry. But one thing you can count on is that here on the Agent Survival Guide podcast, we are here to help new agents survive as you're starting out, and we are in the business of helping all of our agents thrive. We try to have a little bit of fun doing it, even if it means taking a social media trend and turning it into a wider discussion of growth and change in our own industry. And then bonus, if you did not know about this viral trend, you can hop on board and post your own 2016 memories on social media. Whether it is a selfie with flower crowns or just the fact that you've been in business doing this insurance thing for the past 10 years, it's a great way to connect with your followers on social media because hopefully you've been listening to our advice. And not only do you have a website, but you're also on social media. And if not, definitely recommend getting on that. If you'd like to reminisce further back into the stats of enrollment seasons past, we've got a lot of info from 2016 in the notes, as well as more current reports from coverage year 2026. Also there, you'll find the links to follow along with the show on social media and learn more about the FMO that powers this podcast, Ritter Insurance Marketing. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you have a great weekend. Stay healthy and stay safe out there, and we will see you next week. The Agent Survival Guide podcast is a production of Ritter Insurance Marketing, an integrity company. This episode was written and produced by me, Sarah Ruppel. Script editing and fact check by Emily Ryan. Podcast design by Urban Rivera. Follow along with our show wherever you like to listen.